Hello and welcome. Mr. Suresh Senapati of Wipro joins us. Thank you so much for joining us. Why is IFRS exciting from a company's point of view?
I think if you look at in the world varieties of accounting standards, this is perhaps the only accounting standard which has already been accepted by 114 countries. And if you look at the next 2 to 3 years, it will go to something like 150 countries. So that is a better model to go by when you are seeing the world as a market. And when you say world as a market, it is the MNCs coming and playing in Indian market, which means you are competing with the foreign companies, and we playing in the global market where we are playing with them. And therefore, it is important to have a level playing field. And from that perspective, how data financial performance is measured, one company versus the other, with applying a standard which is much more acceptable in multiple countries becomes that much important.
What do you think is there in IFRS for investors?
I think what they have is their ability to comparability. And also what happens is that in many other accounting standards, you find it is a checklist. If this is the case, you do this. If that is the case, you do this. Whereas in IFRS, my own understanding experience is, because we have adopted Indian GAAP, US GAAP and IFRS now, is that there is a lot of judgment that the management applies. And therefore you can look at, and company to company it will be different, management to management it will be different, economy to economy it will be different. And always the investors look forward when they sort of start interacting with the management. What do they look at? How you as a CFO or a CEO, you look at your business, you look at the economy, and they want to see on that basis and therefore put their dollars on. And this standard is about making those judgments, making disclosure of such judgments. And that helps people to read your balance sheet and annual report better.
So, are you saying that investors reward companies which are IFRS compliant, such as a company like yours?
Absolutely. I think why you're strong. I mean, just recently there was a deal where SDFC Bank has done, and they are in IFRS. You have the two largest market cap private banks in India who have IFRS. The largest market cap in the country is IFRS. I mean, about 5-6 IT companies who are part of the Nifty or even Sensex are IFRS. The largest auto company, Tata Motors, in IFRS, and so is some of the pharma companies. So it is already 30-40% of the total market cap of the country. And they have been perceived well. The coverage of the analysts, coverage of the fund managers, fund investors is far higher than the others. And therefore, it's important for us to transition faster. If we are impatient, the way the bureaucrats are dealing with various situations at the state level and the central level or the new government, equally there is a role on us as professional chartered accountants and corporate chartered accountants to make sure that we are the enablers for our businesses and our economy to play in the global market by converting into a standard faster, learning that faster and applying them.
Many people believe that IFRS compliant companies will find it easier to have foreign investors coming in. Would you agree with that?
Completely. Because the familiarity, the very fact that it is applied in 114 countries is very high. So otherwise you make them learn what is India GAAP and how it is different from IFRS, and all this means more effort and therefore more cost of capital, more due diligence, or the discounting that they do is far higher than what you deserve.
From an M&A and collaborative arrangements point of view, how would you view IFRS?
No, clearly, I mean, if I look at a target, and the target is doing IFRS, which are audited on a year-to-year basis, I can do a much more restricted due diligence and acquire the company. In the absence of that, the amount of due diligence we need to do, the amount of suspicions that you have, reconciliation, etc., becomes much more tougher. So clearly, the flow of money to something which is IFRS based is much easier with a lesser cost of capital.
Should we have had carve-outs in the standards that we are adopting? Do you think it's a half-hearted approach?
Well, being part of NACAS and endorsing that, it will be improper for me to say that carve-out is something that is unwanted. Having said that, I think you have an IFRS which is already there in place for many years, and some of the Indian companies have already done it, and you are now trying to implement this across the body corporates. And therefore, keeping that in mind as to what is the preparedness of India in terms of the CA professionals, the companies, where they are currently versus where the kind of time and pain that is needed to be moving there, we have sort of come out with a roadmap as to when they will adapt. And we have also sort of tried to ascertain as to what are the issues today, which if an IFRS is adopted, can be very disruptive. And in that, or there are some unique situations of India which has not been taken into account in the IFRS standards, and it is important for us to build that out. So therefore, we have gone into mid part, and mind you, when we have gone through this debate, we have restricted as less as possible. Today we have something like 7 or 8 carve-outs, while we initially started with the large numbers. And having said that, there is some other standards we are adopting earlier than even IFRS is mandating it to be. So there are some carve-outs, but our own expectation is that now we should look at socializing with the IFRS body to say that some of that can be accommodated there, and also to look at some of those reforms that we need to do in India, as a result of which, let's say for a period of 2 to 3 years, so some of those carve-outs can disappear.
What are the top 3 challenges that you see India facing while implementing these new accounting standards?
3-4 of them, such as adequate literacy amongst the CA professionals, literacy amongst the finance functions in the corporates, and bringing the business managers in line with that. So we need to have the curriculums for the CA students, we need to have training programs for the CA students, we need to have training programs in-house for our companies and management, etc., because you don't want to have a reporting which is different than the management reporting. Otherwise, you have not internalized that. So internalization is first key. And then the second thing is doing an impact assessment. So once you know what is the new standard and you already know your current standard, how does it impact vis-a-vis your top line, bottom line financial performances, and therefore working with the customers, working with the vendors, working with the banks, working with whatever, to say that, guys, this has to be the framework based on which you will do, and hence that helps me deliver mine. So you need that particular time. And the third is, this requires much more additional data points for you to take views on when the cost has to be recognized, when the revenue has to be recognized, etc., and therefore making sure that there are enough tweaking that you have to do into IT system and the organization structure to capture those data, so that the decision making system is much more supportive. And the final one is the risk. The very fact that you will be doing this, you do not want to get into trouble in terms of any kind of a wrong reporting, and therefore identify what the risks are, where could we be going wrong, and have a risk management process around to be able to have filters so that the reporting is not inaccurate.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how would you rate India Inc.'s preparedness to embrace IFRS?
At this point in time, I would say it is about 4 or 5, because there was a euphoria about it perhaps a few years back, then it suddenly died. And now with Mr. Jaitley, the finance minister, talking about it as part of his budget speech, and the speed at which the institute has responded, NACA says multiple times, something like 5, 6, 7 meetings in a short time to be able to come out with the Ind AS, and we have also tried to make sure that the carve-outs are minimal. So the policy making has happened, which also has to go through much more refining. But now the internalization in terms of the curriculum and training programs within the CA professionals and the corporates has to happen. But the beauty is, clearly cost of capital will be lower, attractiveness of Indian companies will be far more, and our ability to deal with our governance mechanism as well as the branding will be far higher in multiple countries. But it gives a big opportunities for Indian chartered accountants to be not only serving the Indian corporates, but also global corporates. Because while you're seeing 114 going up to 150 countries to be adopting it, there are not enough CA professionals, finance professionals, to be able to do those accounting for them. And this is a big global opportunities, and that is what Prime Minister Modi has been talking about, Skill India. So if chartered accountants can skill themselves in this capability, it creates a lot of job opportunities.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.